Well, for days, we certainly heard young women share their stories in that courthouse, reliving their pain and anguish. Here is Nicole Reeb and what she had to say.
My family, my friends, my coworkers, even people on social media whom I've never met have helped me battle through this. They've compelled me to begin my journey away from being a victim and towards becoming a survivor. Otherwise, it would not be implausible to say that the abuse I suffered at the hands of Larry Nassar has ruined my life. I have spent half of my life, my entire adult life, clawing my way through the aftermath of being sexually abused. It seems just to me that Larry Nassar should spend the rest of his adult life locked away in a prison cell.
Well, again, that was Nicole Reeb, and Nicole now joins us from Perry, Michigan. Nicole, thank you for joining us today. I want to begin with your reaction to this sentence. It was a very long, very detailed sentence that we heard from Judge Aquilina there. You asked that Aquilina hand down a life sentence. Essentially, that is what Nassar will be getting here. Are you satisfied with what you heard?
I am satisfied with the sentencing, but like you brought up, I'm not satisfied with the way that MSU and USAG is handling this.
And in fact, we heard Judge Aquilina essentially reference the fact that the questions do not end with the sentencing of Nassar. What would you say to that part of the story?
Well, I think that USAG has taken the first steps in showing that they're accountable, but MSU has done the exact opposite. Their response has been insulting to survivors. We don't matter to them. They're tone deaf. Simon once said that it's virtually impossible to stop a child predator. But I only believe that's true if you turn a blind eye to it, and I think that's what they've been doing for 20 years. The first victim to file a report was 20 years ago, and that was when I was beginning to see Dr. Nassar, Larry Nassar. So this all could have been prevented.
And Nicole, we should say to our audience at home, when you reference that you're talking about USA Gymnastics as well as Michigan State University. And we also have to say that Jennifer Bedford is another one of Nassar's targets, a survivor of the abuse that he gave to her. She joins us right now and is a part of the conversation. You know, Jennifer, I began by asking Nicole her reaction to the sentence. You were in the courthouse as that sentence was read out. What is your reaction to what you just heard in the last hour?
Obviously, victims were survivors. We're disappointed at Larry's lack of accepting responsibility. But I know that a lot of people were relieved to know that he's going to be behind bars and not able to hurt any other little girls or young women in the future. And so definitely feeling that the justice system did its job.
The justice system did his job, but as you're referencing there, it seems that Nassar still has not learned his lesson. How troubling is that for you as a survivor of his abuse?
Something that you have to come to, that's helped me is realizing no human being gets to tell me who I am or who I will be when I walk out of this courtroom. So going in, I had made a decision that regardless of what he said, his words weren't going to heal me and his words weren't going to harm me because he doesn't get to say who I am. And I think that's true of every single woman in that courtroom. That man does not get to say who they are and who they'll be. So I definitely wish that he would have accepted responsibility because that's the first, you can't find, how do you repent if you aren't willing to admit what you did was wrong? So that's kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But regardless of whether or not the stories fell on deaf ears, and Nicole, I want to ask you this question. Was it helpful for you to be able to share your experience and make that part of the public record as they talked about Larry Nassar's fate?
It was helpful for me. I think I still have a long road ahead of me to healing, but I think this was the step in the right direction. And hearing other women's statements and knowing that I'm not alone in this, and Judge Aquilina's words to me after I was done speaking were amazing. She was really helpful and reaffirmed my decision to speak, that it was the right medicine for me, she called it.
And Jennifer, do you hope the fact that Nicole and you were amongst over 160 women who decide to speak out, are you hoping that inspires other women, survivors of abuse, to step forward in their own stories?
Absolutely. I am hoping that this sends like a nationwide, if not worldwide, ripple, that women are able to acknowledge, when they've been assaulted and come forward and speak up about that. I mean, again, we really need to create a safer place for people to do that. And I think this is a step in the right direction.
We're quickly running out of time here, but I do want to ask what may be a difficult question. And Nicole, I'll ask it of you first. Larry Nassar has now been sentenced regarding your cases, regarding the women that he admitted guilt into sexually abusing. But that story doesn't end for you. What is your life going forward going to look like? What has Nassar done to your life, and how do you suspect you'll get over it?
I've battled anxiety and depression my entire adult life. I'm 38 now, and this started happening when I'm 17, so obviously my healing process begins now. But without MSU taking responsibility and taking some action towards this, I don't know that I will be able to move on. I've been a Spartan all my life, and I plan my kids growing up as Spartans, and I don't know that I can do that. That's painful to me as an MSU alum, bled green my whole life, and I honestly can say I'm disgusted and appalled and insulted by. So I'm waiting for them to start doing.
So waiting for Michigan State to do their part in all this. And for you, Jennifer, what does life look like now that this part of the story has, at least this chapter, has closed?
I think that I have full confidence that the Lord's going to bring me to full healing, and that he desires to bring every woman in that courtroom to full healing. Where I'm going forward right now is what my university is doing is wrong. And I've said this before, I think that they have a platform right now to advocate for change on a national and global level, and they need to accept responsibility, fullest responsibility for what they've done. And so for me, I guess I want to see my university step up and be the university that I competed for so hard all those years ago. All those ball girls, the girls that would come to camp and stuff, that I'm talking to them about my university, and I'm giving them accolades. I want them to see them step up and be the university that I know that they can be. I want to see them be forerunners in stopping sexual assault against women, stopping it in training rooms, setting up the right policies, setting up the right, I want to see us change.
Well, we continue to track the story, see if we hear anything more from Michigan State University in response to everything that's happened here. But for now, Nicole Reeb in Perry, Michigan, and in Lansing, Jennifer Bedford, thank you to the two of you, two women speaking out against Larry Nassar, who's now been sentenced to up to 175 years in U.S. prison.